Hare Krishna devotees. Kannada class will be taken by His Grace Mathurasham Prabhu in the ground floor. It was announced late. So those who want to hear Kannada class can assemble it in the ground floor. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is audible. Hare Krishna. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जन वल्लभ यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda 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 Gopala 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 Govinda 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 Gopala 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की श्रील प्रभुपाद की और सीतानाथ परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल directly visible, is it? You are able to see? I can't see. Hare Krishna. So today Srimad Bhagavatam we'll be looking at the 7th canto, 9th chapter, verse number 10. So before we get started, kindly repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abadheshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkravatam Aham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. This is the verse that we are going to see. This is in the 7th canto and in the 9th chapter. 9th chapter is called Prahalad pacifies Lord Narasimha Deva with prayers. Viphradvisadgunayuthad Aravindhanabha Padharavinda Vimukhat Swapacham Varishtam Manye Tadarpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natu Bhurimanaha. Can do it once more. Viphradvisadgunayuthadaravindanabha Padharavinda Vimukhat Swapacham Varishtam Manye Tadarpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natu Bhurimanaha. Viphradvisadgunayuthadaravindanabha Radharavinda Vimukhat Swapacham Varishtam Manye Tadarpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Nathu Bhurimanaha. Viphradvisadgunas Yuthavindanabha Padharavinda Vimukhat Swapacham Vishishtam Manye Tadarpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranan Punati Sakulam Nathu Bhurimanaha. Mataji. Viphradvisadgunayuthadaravindanabha Padharavinda Vimukhat Swapacham Varishtam Tadarpita Mano Vachane Tata Pranan Punati Sakulam Nathu Bhurimanaha. Viphradvisadgunayuthadaravindanabha Okay. Anybody else wants to try? Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the word to word meaning. We can all repeat. Viprad, Dana Brahmana, Twisat Guna Yutad, qualified with 12 Brahmanical qualities. Aravinda Nabha, Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus growing from his navel. Pada Aravinda, to the lotus feet of the Lord. Vimukhat, not interested in devotional service. Swapacham, one born in a low family or a dog eater. Varishtam, more glorious. Manye, I consider. Tad arpita, surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Manaha, his mind. Vachana, words. Ihita, every endeavor. Artha, wealth, Pranam, and life. Punati, purifies. Saha, he, the devotee. Kulam, his family. Na, not. Tu, but. Burimanaha, one who falsely thinks himself to be in a prestigious position. Just read the translation and the purport. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki. If a Brahmana has all 12 of the Brahmanical qualifications, as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahmana, in a position of false prestige, cannot purify even himself. The purport. Here is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj. One of the 12 authorities regarding the distinction between a devotee and a Brahmana expert in Karma Kanda or Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. There are 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas which divide human society, but the central principle is to become a first-class pure devotee. It is said in the Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya, Bhagavat Bhakti Hinasya Chati Shastram Japat Tapaha Apranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. If one is born in a high family like that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, but is not a devotee of the Lord, all his good qualifications as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or a Vaishya are null and void. Indeed, they are considered decorations of a dead body. In this verse, Prahlad Maharaj speaks of the Vipras, the learned Brahmanas. The learned Brahmana is considered best among the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. But a devotee born in a low Chandala family is better than such Brahmanas, not to speak of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and others. A devotee is better than anyone, for he is in the transcendental position on the Brahman platform. Mam chayo avyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman, which is in Bhagavad Gita 14.26. The 12 qualities of a first-class Brahmana, as stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, are as follows. Jnanam cha satyam cha tamashrutam cha hai amatsarvyam rishi stitikshana suya yagnascha dhanam cha dhrithi samascha mahavratha dvadasha brahmanasya. The European and American devotees in the Krishna conscious movement are sometimes accepted as Brahmanas, but the so-called caste Brahmanas are very much envious of them. In answer to such envy, Prahlad Maharaj says that one who has been born in a Brahmana family but is falsely proud of his prestigious position cannot even purify himself, not to speak of his family. Whereas if a Chandala, a low-born person, is a devotee and has fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can purify his entire family. We have had actual experience of how Americans and Europeans, because of their full Krishna consciousness, have purified their whole families. So much so that a mother of a devotee at the time of her death inquired about Krishna with her last breath. Therefore, it is theoretically true and has been practically proven that a devotee can give the best service to his family, his community, his society, and his nation. The foolish accuse a devotee of following the principles of escapism, but actually the fact is that a devotee is the right person to elevate his family. A devotee engages everything in the service of the Lord, and therefore he is always exalted. It's a nice purport to read. Prabhupada is praising all the devotees. So anyway, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, seeking the blessings of all the devotees who are here, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Kindly bless me, show your mercy so that I'll be able to do some justice to this wonderful verse. So this verse is actually talking about the qualities of a Brahmana and a Vaishnava. So doing this as a service to the Guru Parampara for the pleasure of the Lordships and for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So, where did this go here? Okay, so this particular verse, Vipradvisadgunayuthad aravindanabha padharavinda vimukhat swapachambarishtam manye tadarpita manovachane vachane hitartha pranam punati sakulam nathu purimanaha. So which means that if a Brahmana has all 12 of the Brahminical qualifications, as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because a devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahmana, in a position of false prestige, cannot purify even himself. Okay. So now we are talking about a Brahmana who has got 12 qualifications. So the discussion is not about the 12 qualifications. We know there are a lot of opulences that are there, especially when the birth is higher. But what happens when there is a higher birth, then there is also this higher ego. The false ego is also a little bloated up, isn't it? So any ability, no need. But it is not the false ego or whatever is there. I mean, that's basically how we are defining this. This is ahankar, right? So when we are talking about ahankar, what is the shloka that comes to our mind? Ahankara vimudatma prakate kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. So where the living entity thinks that he or she is a doer, but actually he is not the doer. Who is the doer? Prakrate kriyamanani. So it is a nature or it is a material nature that one has because of which actions happen. Now, when we begin to think that we are the doers, and then there is some amount of success that we get in our activity, and that success actually propels another emotion which is called as pride, and that is dhamba. So this dhamba is something that is that is born because of the success that we experience, and this particular dhamba is at the stage of bodily platform, material, correct, na? So now that particular dhamba, if it has to be removed, then there is only one way. So we need to understand who we are. So we need to understand our identity. Earlier, the identity was that of that I am this body. So if somebody is asking who am I, then immediately from the bodily conscious platform, we give our reply. And we are so much conditioned that even though we realize that we are not this body, we are the soul, but it takes a lot of practice, abhyasa. Unless we keep practicing, that consciousness shift cannot happen. It just does not happen because by entropy, like entropy, you all understand, like the water always flows to the lowest point. Like that, for us, the consciousness comes to the lowest point and then it remains there. That is the point of I am this body. So we're so conditioned in that we uh, continue living like that. Then what happens when we understand, like we need to give up this particular designations? That is what we have heard every time. Whatever we read, whatever we hear, any class, whether it is direct or whether it is online, YouTube, anywhere, or when we read Prabhupada's purports, it's all about the same. So it says we have to give up. So Narada Muni also says, Sarvopadi Vinurmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam. So then there are other verses that talk about how I am not the owner of anything that I have. So this is again the Lord speaks about this in the Ishopanishad, where he says, Ishavasam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tene taktena bunjita magrada kasya sviddanam. So he says there is a quota that is given to all of us, each of us, and we need to identify and understand this quota and live within that. Not try to aspire for more. I want more, give me more. That's not the way in which one has to move. So, like this, Prabhupada is actually taking these references in this particular purport, or in the pravarchan that he was giving with respect to this particular verse, and then he said he was liking or linking this particular giving up to the sannyasis. So there are two types of sannyasis, Prabhupada says, so we are aware. What are the two types of sannyasis? The two classifications. One is the Vaishnava sannyasi and another one is a Mayavad sannyasi. So Prabhupada actually is talking about the Tridandis. The Vaishnava sannyasis are Tridandis. So what are the three dandis? What does it signify? The three dandas that are there. We have the three sticks tied together. So Tridandi. So if you see in their bag that they carry, there is a danda, and that danda is not single, it is three. Three dandis tied together and then it is inside. So what is the significance of the three dandi? So it talks about the control of mind, words, and then actions. So we can say speech, mind, and then the body. Actions mean again through the body. So there is even this thing you would have heard, that prayers we say kaya navacha, manasendriyaiva, kaya, manasa. Kaya is the body, manasa, mind. And then indriya, manasendriya. Vacha is of course speech. Kayena vacha, manasendriya, buddhyatma atma, anushruta subhava. Karomi yagnam sakalam parasmai Sriman Narayana iti samarpayami. So that's how we actually say all these prayers. We know most of us recite also, but that's again lip service. So we always keep identifying ourselves as the body. That's what Prabhupada is trying to point out here. And then he says, but then unlike the Vaishnav sannyasi who is practicing this Tridandi, that is the Kayana Vacha Manasendriyaiva, the Mayavad sannyasis are different. So they have one danda. So there's just one stick, one staff that is there. And that oneness, what does that indicate? It indicates the oneness of Brahman. Do we also accept that oneness? Yes or no? Yeah, we accept. How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? How many of you say yes? Yeah. How many of you say we don't accept the oneness? So this becomes a little confusing. Actually, we accept and we don't accept. So Veda and Abeda. So Both of you are right. You could have lifted your hand for both also. Anyway, so if you look at the verse in Bhagavad Gita, there's some verses in the Bhagavad Gita that I'm just trying to take. Maya tatamidam sarvam 9.4. Jagat avyakta murtina masthani sarvabhutani nachaham tusve avastitaha avastinaha. So what it means by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All things are in me, but I am not in them. The last line is very important. And this is where the understanding of a Vaishnava is different from the understanding of a regular person or even a Mayavad. So Mayavad is of the opinion, they say, Krishna is everything. Okay. So the corollary is also true for them. Everything is Krishna. But we need to understand that everything is not Krishna. Like say, Prabhupada gives that example. That doesn't mean that this microphone or the stand or the table, all that is not Krishna. You can't go with that kind of consciousness. Then we are not going to progress anywhere. Then we'll drift into Mayavad. But everything is Krishna. That is true. Because all this is Krishna, because it's energy of Krishna. So that is where the difference is. And so likewise, we can understand how Krishna is everywhere. Okay, and sorry, what does that actually say? It says all things are in me, but I am not in them. So that's what Krishna means. He says all things are in me. It is all coming from me, but I am not in them. That means me as a person, as a consciousness, I'm not in that. So it's my energy which is there, and those are all my energies. So then from there, then of course the whole section of internal energy, external energy, tatastha shakti, all that is there. So we know how it progresses. But anyway, at this point, we just stop here with respect to how this difference creeps in and then how it expands into Mayavadism. It can expand, but then we from our side as Vaishnavas, we realize where Krishna is not everything. Krishna is in everything, but everything is not Krishna. You get the difference? Everything is not Krishna. Now, if everything is not Krishna, then there is also another shloka. It says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddhesha arjuna tishtati. So that says that Krishna is everywhere. How do we reconcile this? See, actually there, it is about the bhutanam. It is about the living entities. It is about the Chetana, about the living force. So Krishna is in every heart of the living entity. He's talking about the living entity. I'm there in the hearts of the living entity. So that is okay. I'm not in them was for the creation, but I'm in every living entity. So he's making it very clear. So where I am, where my internal energy is there and where it's only the external energy. So we need to understand this. So why we are talking about this? This is Sambandha Jnana. So we need to understand who we are, who's Lord, what is the relationship. If that is established within our hearts wonderfully, and if we are able to realize this particular knowledge, that each time we understand that I'm not this body, then we are making progress. So now back to what Prabhupada was saying, he said that there are so many yonis, right? There are so many living entities, 8.4 million living entities are there. So in each and every living entities, Krishna is there as an expansion. And then he is there to guide us as Chaitya Guru. So now when he is there in all the yonis, definitely he is there in all types of human beings. Correct, na? The 400,000, 4 lakh species of human beings. How are these 4 lakh species of human beings have come about? Is it that somebody has 3 hands, somebody has 4 legs and things like that? No. What's it then? It is about the consciousness. So in that consciousness, based on the level of consciousness, there is a certain category to which an individual can belong. So then it is up to that individual to move from one category to another. Like how we all were put in a school when we were a child. So we were put in a school, but it was up to us to move from one class to another, right? from kindergarten to first to second to third to fourth. Then we came to the 12th. And then finally, then we came out of the school. So our parents put us into the school. In fact, they put us into the best school, right? Na? But then if we think that, oh, my father, so wonderful, he loves me so much, he has put me in the school, so let me be here continuously. And then you don't put any effort to graduate to make yourself move out of the school. Is that very intelligent? No. So in the same way, take this analogy and try to understand that even though the Lord has put us here in this material world, it is up to us to get out of it. That is what is the expectation of the Supreme Father. Just like how an ordinary father, when he puts us to a school, he has this expectation that we come out refined, we come out colorful, with flying results, colorful results. So the same way, the Lord also expects us. So then, what is it that is important now? The important thing is about endeavor, prayas. We will have to endeavor. It's not like, okay, if things happen, Lord put me, when he wants it, then he will take me out. No, we didn't go to school like that. We didn't go to school saying that anyway, he has put me here, I'll be here. And if he wants me to come out of school, then he will take me out. No, that's not good intelligence. So, in this way, all the human beings have the Lord in the heart, and he is actually guiding us like the Chaitya Guru. And all of us have a chance to cultivate Krishna consciousness. The 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 tattva, or the points that we are talking about here is gradually leading us to a certain thing, which is quite contrary to what we see now, and I'll just come to that. Okay, so now we understand that the Lord is there in every human being, and he is the Chaitya Guru. Then he is giving us a chance to cultivate Krishna consciousness. It didn't happen, so then the Lord came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he gave Krishna consciousness from outside. The Lord himself, who was inside, but then he also came out, and then from outside, then he was directing. And then he was directing, and then we couldn't follow the instruction. So he was so merciful that even there was no qualification, he was just giving them liberation. So without any qualification, irrespective of what Varna you belong to. In fact, His Grace Krishna and Prabhuji was talking about the travels of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu last 2 days, the people who have attended it, you will realize how merciful he was, how he just traveled, and in the roads he was just hugging them, and then by his hug, then he was liberating them, means making them self-realize. Liberating them means it's not that they fell down dead. So it's like he was giving them self-realization, realization to understand who they are. The Sambandha Jnana became immediately, they became aware of things. That the touch of the Lord is very important. Touch of the Lord, even for Prahlad Maharaj, the prayers that we are seeing now, he was touched, he was embraced. Prahlad Maharaj goes in front of the Lord. Actually, what is this scenario? There is a huge fight. I mean, Hiranyakashipu is slain. The Lord is very angry. In that anger, all the others are very afraid to go near the Lord. And then Brahmaji very nicely pushes Prahlad Maharaj in the front. Prahlad Maharaj is not fearful at all. He goes in front of the Lord, and the Lord embraces him. When he does that, then there is realization that happens to Prahlad Maharaj. In the previous shlokas, you can see that. So, like this, the touch is very, very important. Who's that other personality who got into realization when he was touched? Dhruva Maharaj, very well. So like this, the touch is very important. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing that, everybody was liberated. Not only just humans, even animals were liberated. He took it to that level. He even gave self-realization or liberation to the animals in the Jharkhand forest. So Prabhupada makes another interesting statement. I mean, having said this on one hand, then we might think, okay, I'll have to make progress. I know this, but then not now. Let me just do it later. That's the general tendency of people. So Prabhupada puts in a point there. He says that if one is not serving Krishna, then he is in Maya. That means we begin to degrade into sinful life. There is no stopping in Maya. When we are in Maya, that means that we are being pulled down because we have to do activities. Can anybody remain without doing any activities? No. So any activity that we do under the influence of Maya, that means if we are in the bodily consciousness, then it's going to give us reactions. So those reactions means sinful life, because we would definitely have inconvenienced somebody. some entity, some yoni. And that sin we will have to take. So sin will keep on increasing. Even if you are very pious, you are not doing any ugra karma, still you will accumulate these sins. So our intelligence is also hijacked by Maya. Maya is just waiting. The moment you surrender to Maya, your intelligence is hijacked. Maya apaharita jnani. So what happens to Maya apaharita jnani? They don't surrender to the Lord anymore. So we don't want to get into that. Then we become dushkrutina. We lose all the meritocracy that we have accumulated. And we become mudas, or we become asses. And then we develop this demoniac nature, asuri bhav. What is asuri bhav? What is asuri bhav at our stage? Demon doesn't mean growing two horns, looking fearful. What is asuri bhav? Asuri bhav means me, mine, I'm the Lord of all that I survey. What did Hiranyakashipu do? He looked at everything and he wanted it all for himself. He had the power to acquire it. We don't have the power to acquire it, so we are quiet and we are very humble about it. Let's not cheat ourselves, So we want everything. How many of you feel otherwise? No. So this aspect of wanting to lord it over all that I see, anything I see, I want it. You see a new car, how much is it? So maybe I should buy it. Maybe not now, maybe later on. Wow, it looks wonderful. If you can't afford it, then it leads to jealousy. So it goes on like that. But then the point is that we will definitely be in sin and we will continue that downward spiral if we are in Maya. So Krishna consciousness is not a choice that I have. It's not that, okay, it's an option that is available for me, I will take it. No. We will have to show urgency. If we are not showing urgency, that means that we are not having the right frame of mind. That means that we are still attached to the bodily designations. Correct? So this bodily attachments, the designations having some thread, maybe a weak thread, but still there is some attachment there. And because of that, we are not able to take the plunge into Sarvopadi Vinurmuktam. We're not able to give that up, at least mentally. See, right now we may not be able to do it in action, but in the mind, where does the first change happen? Management students, others know. The change happens in the mind first. Then only you can bring about the change. So unless we decide and then we bring in that particular change in the mind and then say that I need to do it. But then one good thing about endeavoring spiritually is you're not alone. When you're endeavoring materially, same tenets hold good. Change has to happen in the mind, blah, 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 all that you'll read in all the self-help and all those career guides and other things. But then spiritually, there is a big advantage. We are not alone. Who's with us? Krishna is with us. How many of you agree Krishna is with us? Krishna is with us means what? When I say Krishna, it is not just the Supreme Lord. Of course, it includes the Supreme Lord. But for our spiritual understanding, based on what our acharyas are saying, it includes Krishna and the parampara, people who are connected to Krishna. So it comes down to the point of our immediate contact, who is the Guru or senior Vaishnavas. So everything, all of it together. So we will have that particular connect or that help. So all we have to do is we have to attract the mercy of Krishna or mercy of the Guru or the Parampara. So when we attract the mercy, then things begin to change. Then we realize we'll have to endeavor, but then we realize that it is not my endeavor which is giving me the results. Endeavor is there, but then it is the mercy that is actually giving me the result. Otherwise, materially, how we think, it's the endeavor, my effort, I did it. That is bodily consciousness. But here also endeavor is there in devotional service. But even if there is some success, then it is because of the mercy. Prabhupada says, if you have heard his lectures, you would have heard him say, whatever little success that is there is because of my Guru Maharaj's mercy. That is after going around the world, or almost after going around the world 14 times and building, and constructing nearly 108 temples, let us say, because he was in between. That is when he made this comment. So when so much was achieved, and Hare Krishna was a name, household name it had become, especially in the US. Even at that stage, he said, whatever little success is because of that, of the mercy of God. If at all you want to give any credit to me, it's just that I carried out the instructions of my spiritual master, nothing else. That is humility. That is right sambandha jnana or realized knowledge. That is okay. So we'll have to practice this. Abhyasa is needed. Without abhyasa, nothing. Even in this verse, there is endeavor. There is so much of importance to endeavoring. So in this way, once we get the right sambandha jnana, then what happens? There is abhidaya. What is the abhidaya? What does a devotee do? So in fact, he's always chanting my glories. What is that shloka? Satatam kirtayanto ma. So yes, Dridavratha. Yeah, yes. I'll just try to read that. Satatam kirtayanto ma yatantascha dridavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. So that is the abhidaya, the process of carrying out an activity with the right knowledge. Then satatam kirtayanto. My devotees always they chant my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So that's the abhidaya aspect. And then we move on to prayojan. Prayojan actually came in the purport. Anybody recalls? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So that is abhidaya only. But then the next two lines are the prayojan. What does it say? Sagunan samati taitan. So we are able to transcend the gunas and then move up. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. We come to the level of the platform of Brahman or God realization. So in this way, we need to understand our scriptures, hear from our acharyas, and then what happens? We'll begin to make progress. And just tell me if you're able to see it. Can you see? Okay. So now we spoke about the endeavor. We spoke about the living entity being assisted by the Lord and all of that. Now I've just made some things that Prabhupada actually put in place. So what did Srila Prabhupada do? Can you see? Is it coming? It's there. I don't know why it's going into a different mode. No, but it's giving me that mode on which I'm supposed to work. So anyway, I'll just come out of this. This is okay. So yeah, I'll do. The progressive Pancharatrika Vidhi we will just see now because there is an action that is happening here. So we saw in the purport there are these four varnas. Now we are coming, our discussion is with respect to the human beings only. So we'll see how by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we've been given an equal chance to advance ourselves. So now this is the structure that we are all aware of. I'll not spend too much time on this. There are the four varnas. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And these varnas are because of by nature of birth. Then we know the gunas. Where is that link? Because the verse talked about the gunas, no? So now the link is there. So you might be wondering, how are the varnas connected to the gunas? So this is the link. Brahmana in the Sattva gun, Kshatriya, Rajogun, broadly. So Vaishyas are a combination of Tamo and Rajogun, and the Shudra is Tamogun. So this is where the link is. Now we also know that a Vaishnava is above the four Varnas. So I'm just trying to put it pictorially here, otherwise it becomes very dry. Just words, it might confuse. So I just put it there. Vaishnava is the topmost. And what is the guna that they are in? Gunatita. Sagunan samatitaitan. So they have transcended. That means it doesn't mean that they don't have any gunas. They have transcended the gunas. And that is called as, identified here as Shuddha Sattva. Now, how was this progress happening? It's there. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti somahatma sudurlabha. That means that you have to take many, many births. So you're a Vaishya now, you live your life as a Vaishya. Then probably you do some good, then you move up. Very slow process. Not a very good process for the modern age. The age where there is everything is instant, right? Food is instant, everything is instant. 2 minutes things come here. At this age, you talk about lifetimes. Let's say, oh my God, not for me now, not now. I've got better things to do. So, Bahunam Janmanam Ante was the scenario in the earlier days. Then there were also other types of people apart from the four Varnas. Probably some of you were aware. They were not from belonging to the four Varnas. They are the Swapachas, the Chandalas, and who's a Swapacha? I'm using this word because it's there in the shloka today of today's. Swapacha is a dog eater. So Chandala, lower than the Shudras. They are all outside the Varnashrama. So we put that here at the bottom most. There are others, but I've just limited it to the two. Then Prabhupada, or otherwise, actually, there is a see what Prabhupada did was his mercy. He did not actually reject the Varnashrama, but he wanted to rectify it. The Varnashrama that is existing is based on birth. But then we know that Krishna didn't ordain it in that way. What is that shloka? Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam guna karma vivagasa. So there is guna and karma because of which vivaga has happened. But then we have made it janma karma vivagasa. So the gunas have been conveniently ignored. So you can see a brahmana who's in a completely rajogun kind of a thing, very passionate brahmana you can see, or a very lazy brahmana you can see. So these were all, what do you call that? Oxymorons in the earlier days. The two don't go together. Today it is all okay. You can have a very sattvic Shudra or a very sattvic Kshatriya. All of that can happen now. So it's the Varna has got mixed up to such an extent that we get confused. So, but then the actual Varnas were progressive. How they were progressive? Even this one is progressive, but at a very slow pace. This is not the pace that we want, the one which is on the left. The right side one is just to make the differentiation. We are calling it as Daivi Varnashrama, which is by the Gunas. And in that, everybody is a Shudra, because in this age that is Kalau, Shudra, Sambhavaha, we know that. So when everybody is Shudra, because there is no samskaras that have happened, etc., etc. So it's all in Shudra platform. Now, the interesting thing happens. There is Shudras, everybody is there, but the Shudra has an opportunity to raise to the platform of Brahmana. And Brahmana is the topmost. I didn't mention that, but we all know. And that process that Prabhupada is giving is the Pancharatrika process. What is this Pancharatrika process? We will try to see a little while from now. Now, it is not just that the Shudras will come there, even the so-called Swapachas or the Chandalas who are not in this Varna. This line is gone. If you have to actually see the real way how it is structured, this box need not be there. It can be included along below the Shudra. That is item 4 only. It's an extension of item 4, you can say. So then Pancharatrika process is the process by which even a Swapacha or a Chandala can also move to the level of a Brahmana. And what is this Pancharatrika Vidhi or the process? Is it bona fide? So Prabhupada actually took these things from the teachings of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Rupa Goswami actually wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a particular verse which talks about, okay, I'll just try to quote that a little later. If anybody knows, then you can talk. He talks about the Vedas, Purana, Adi, and then Pancharatrika Vidihina. So the Pancharatrika is clubbed along with the other categories of Shruti and Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Adi, Pancharatrika, Vidhi, all of this is bona fide, they are saying, that particular verse. So we understand that the Vaidika Vidhi, which is the progress of an individual by way of birth, that process is the Vaidhi Vidhi. But we are not doing that Vaidhi Vidhi. Why? because you have to be a Brahmana if you have to receive the sacred thread or the initiation. But then in Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. There is no Brahmana by birth. So then, if there is no Brahmana by birth, then the Vaidhi Vidhi is not going to hold good. Might see Vaidhi Vidhi happening outside. The families which are still Brahmana family. Kshatriya families have left it. This Brahmanical initiation, how many of you knew that it is for the three Varnas? Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and Brahmanas. All of them are Dvijas. All of them get the sacred thread, the Gayatri mantra. But the degradation has happened so much that the Vaishyas are not worried so much, or even the Kshatriyas, and even the Brahmanas now. There are many Brahmanas who don't believe in that at all. So it is just done as a ritual. When does that happen? For a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, just before he is getting married, they put a thread and then they get him married. How many of you have seen this? Yeah. So it has been reduced to the state of a ritual and nothing more. But whereas, that is what I said, degradation has happened. The system is good, but it has got corrupted. So we have to rectify it, not reject it. But outside world has rejected the Varnashrama. The moment you talk about Varnashrama, oh, Manuvad and this and that, and they want to reject it. Okay, there are some mistakes that have happened because so many ages it has come about. So somewhere some mistake has happened. But then the intelligent thing is to rectify it and then pass it down to the next generation so that they will take it properly and then go, not reject it and then bring about something else and some hodgepodge thing you create. So there are so many examples, right? From what happens in Russia, communism, what happened and then how it failed, capitalism, communism, thisism, thatism, so many things they are trying. Everything else other than trying to understand the guna. They're not able to do that. So anyway, that's another discussion. But so we understand that how Prabhupada rectified it by bringing in the Pancharatrika process. Because everybody is a Shudra, you have to elevate, then you have to go to the Pancharatrika and not the Vaidhi Vidhi. And that is what we are doing. Even today, what Prabhupada has given us is being followed. So there is Brahmanical initiation that happens. That's an initiation which is as per the Shastras. It is not something that is been invented or which Prabhupada brought in. Yeah, Prabhupada brought it in, but then the reference to the Shastras are there. Let's not forget that. Yeah. And then what happens? You see, I mean, yeah, Bhavanam Janmanam becomes red because it doesn't, it's not a very good thing for us. And then, yeah, of course, if you are a Sapocha also by devotional service, then you can move up. That's the next level. From the Brahmana to Vaishnava is by devotional service. The devotional service, again, I'm quoting that same shloka that is there, 14.26. What was that? Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So that is serving the Lord with bhakti. Then we are able to transcend. So with this transcending, that is again has this Shastrik Praman, where it says from Brahmana or becoming a Brahmana like this, then you can move to a Vaishnava. Or even if you are not, if you are a Swapacha also, you can move by bhakti. So the importance of bhakti, which is in green, is highlighted. And that's how then we can understand this particular shloka or this particular, the particular shloka. And then we have many examples of the above, which is further proof of the whole process. European, Americans, and even Indians. Actually, I shouldn't have restricted to Europeans and Americans because Prabhupada said that in the purport, so I just put it there. So we know how there are so many examples, not just they themselves as individuals getting elevated, but their entire family gets elevated, liberated. So anybody wants proof for that? So we know in ISKCON, there's so many things that we come across. We've read where somebody is passing away, somebody's devotee's parent who has never even approved the son or the daughter joining the movement. There is so much of animosity, enmity, or hostility was there by that particular parent. And then subsequently, when the end is coming, then there is a complete shift, turnaround. How many of you agree to this? Absolutely. So that turnaround is proof of whatever I was just speaking now or whatever we are seeing here. It works, Prabhupada says, and it is bona fide. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked. You can see how it is working. And we need to have this faith And we need to have developed this particular faith that yes, it will happen. And we need to support people who are endeavoring to become a Brahmana or advance themselves spiritually. Becoming a Brahmana is not just a ritual. We are not supposed to look at it that way. I'm not saying this. Prabhupada is quoting. He's very clearly said it's not a ritual. What is it then? It is beyond a ritual. It is a way of elevating ourselves, of purifying ourselves, of doing devotional service better. What does devotional service mean? What comes to our mind? Navavida Bhakti. Correct? Navavida Bhakti, you don't need Brahminical initiation for certain things. What are those things? The first three you don't need. What are they? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. We don't need. Anybody can do. You don't even have to have even Harinam Diksha. You can chant. Because sometimes, we get confused by all this. That's why I'm saying. Chanting is enough to take us back home to Godhead. But as a Vaishnava, is that our aim? Going back home, back to Godhead? How many of you say that going back home, back to Godhead is our aim? Yeah, okay, it can be a name, but then a Vaishnava is actually not even worried about going back home, back to Godhead. What is he worried about? Service, doing seva in this particular body only, as I am. Sthane sthita shrutigata. So wherever I am, just do seva. So for that, you don't need this thing then. Yeah, actually. But then the seva, no, the Navavida Bhakti, what are the other things that are there? After Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, then Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, prayer, deity worship. For all this, then one has to be initiated. Prabhupada has very clearly said that only a Brahminical initiated person can do service to the deities. How do we establish our sambandha? Chanting, yes, it's a start. And then if one also you can go. But then, given situation, we are connected to a temple. In the temple, there are deities. We do so much seva to the deity. And our seva has to improve, no? Correct or not? How many of you want to be in the same seva? Okay, I'm satisfied with this. This is enough for me. At that point, at a particular moment, you might be satisfied because you have other obligations like family, children, husband, whatever. That's okay. But then in the mind, it is not like that. We always want to do more. So we have to aspire. So we want Brahminical initiation. So we'll have to aspire for that. We'll have to move ahead. So then I get an opportunity to do deity worship. And then further my spiritual uh, advancement, not understanding. Understanding is there, but then advancement, that is realization and all of that. So to take it further and further, the system that is being put in place is needed. There are many more, like even now they'll say like, learning Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, do this, do that. Somebody might argue, Prabhupada never said all this. Why should we do? No, that is regressive thinking. Current scenario, we need to think. So you have come to a certain stage, you go beyond that. You have to transcend that and then go beyond. It is like, okay, dad put me in school, I finished 12th, now that's it over. No. Then you yourself will go to your father and say, I want admission in this college. Yes or no? When you went to kindergarten, you never said, I want a school. In fact, you said, I didn't want to go to school, but then he put you forcefully there. But then the transformation happened to such an extent that after you finish your 12, then you tell your father, see, now I want to go here. From there, then I want to do this, I want to do that. So where did that change happen? It's because of the time that you spent in the school. Then you grew. So in the same way, so we come into this institution, but then we will have to progress. We will have to go beyond. And for that, such things are there. Like we had the Siksha seminar last week. Siksha seminar was about, again, giving various opportunities or various stages for people to move up further. 1 rounder, 4 rounder. So it's not just about rounds, but then we have to keep some benchmark. No? So it is there. And then accepting Krishna as the supreme, beginning to do some seva, at least expressing the desire to do that, like serving, marjanam, cleaning, or preaching also. How does preaching start? Getting your friends, your relatives. I went to this temple, wonderful temple. You also come. Sat mein jayenge kal. That is preaching, na? You're bringing somebody to Krishna. So like that, and then you progress. And then from there, then you move to an 8 rounder, 16 rounder, Prabhupada Ashraya, then Guru Ashraya, then Guru Diksha, and then so that is all there. And after that is the Brahmanical Diksha. So that is also very important. And then for that, then we'll have to study the Shastras. We should be aware. Otherwise, our faith is shaken. So that is why today, actually, there's a wonderful thing that has happened today. What is it? From our congregation, some of the people who have taken Brahminical initiation recently, they are actually completing that process of initiation through an yajna. And that yajna is going to happen now today down. So this yajna, now we encourage, that's what I said. If somebody is endeavoring, then we have to encourage. So what is expected of us is that we go and then participate in the yajna and then encourage the person who's doing it, the people who are doing it, and motivate them or encourage them, or congratulate them. Okay, if we are not in a position to encourage or motivate, we can at least congratulate them. And then take that as an inspiration so that we also sometime will be able to reach that point of Brahminical initiation. So because that is something that is ordained. And I spoke about the two things, the last point. One was Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where this shloka we saw about Smriti, Shruti, Purana, Adi, that particular verse, which was the basis for concluding that Pancharatrika Vidhi is a bona fide religious process or a process. Then the other one is in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, where there is a shloka which talks about how bell metal can be converted to gold through the process of some chemical process. Okay, that process Prabhupada adopted, and then he this conversion of bell metal, we're all like bell metals, iron or whatever, we can become gold. And that gold conversion, how it is happening? It is happening through a chemical process. In the same way, there is a process here, the process of chanting, the process of devotional service. It will take us to the level of Brahmana and beyond, a Vaishnava. So that's why Pancharatrika Vidhi becomes bona fide, and we can rest assured, we can understand that it is very much, this is what it is. Yatha Kanchanatam Yati. So I don't have time, I'm just displaying it there. You can see Hari Bhakti Vilasa 2.12. And this is that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatrika Vidhim Vina. Aikantika Harir Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Without undergoing the process of all this, you cannot. So that's we just spoke of this. And then Prabhupada has mentioned so many places why it is important, the Brahminical initiation, and how it Pancharatrika Vidhi overrules the birth considerations. You don't have to be born in a certain caste to adopt Pancharatrika Vidhi. It is for all humans. Prabhupada said that. Then the role of Gayatri in spiritual rebirth. So the Gayatri mantra is very powerful. So that is also there. And in this way, we can see how Prabhupada has spoken about so many things. I'm not covering this in the interest of time, but it just says that the moment a person is chanting Gayatri mantra, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must therefore acquire Brahminical qualities or be situated in the mode of goodness to chant successfully the Gayatri mantra and attain the stage of transcendentally realizing the Lord, his form, name, fame, quality, etc. So on this note, I will stop here. If there are any comments or questions on whatever we discussed, kindly go ahead. Otherwise, we can conclude. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts or anything that you want to share? Need not be a question. All right. So we can conclude now. So the yajna is just starting, I think. That's why you come here. So I just finished in time, I think. So we'll conclude with Vaishnava pranams. Vancha kalpatrubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, नित गौर सीतनाथ परमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.